I was really not a big fan of the whole defensive play. He was forced into it there, and then finally was able to get aggressive later on. But here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you the one and only Bling. He is in the orange trunks, playing for Team Dignitas, and he is, of course, playing Protoss to the east of the Shattered Temple versus his opponent from Team Infused, the one and only Lau. He is in the red trunks, and he is playing Terran to the west.
And on this map, I expect Bling to go for one gate expand, one gas, one gate expand. Very, very safe, very economy-based. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw 1-1-1. It is cross-position, though. It makes it a little bit more difficult because you have a little longer way to travel. But, of course, anything can happen from Lau. He is the most unpredictable player out of every player in the WCG tournament.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous how many builds he can actually pull out of his hat. I remember back at the Game Research, actually, he pulled out that build that confused the both of us, which was, of course, the early double Starport, double Banshee, which he has used from time to time. He's actually sort of shied away from that just a little bit lately. He's varied things up. I think the people have kind of gotten an idea of that strategy, and they know how to counter it, and they perhaps expect it. So he's been doing all sorts of things. He's been doing a lot with Hellions lately, but oddly enough from him, we haven't seen a huge amount of Hellions. Where there's only that one game that you remember those two Hellions destroying, what is it, 15+ workers, which was absolutely absurd. They didn't even have blue flame or anything, so we'll see how it goes, and it's going to be a barracks first from Lau, however, so that's not really indicative of any kind of early Hellion play.
And Lau does know very well about Hellions. He has used them so many times. I'm sure there's a lot of people on the ladder that have played Lau has actually lost just because of his Hellions. His Hellion micro is so good, with or without blue flame. It does not matter for Lau. And because of his multitasking, his micro, he will actually send in 3 prones of attacks from different areas, from different angles with Hellions, main base, natural, and third. And literally, as a Protoss player, it is the most difficult thing to deal with in the entire world, having Hellions on multiple fronts. Because the thing is, one powerful shot, yeah, that's it. The Probe line's dead. It's so hard to defend against. Yeah,
it's an absolute pain, and as a Terran player, I absolutely adore it, I might add, and it would make me sad if they were to change that. Whatever the case, Lau is deadly when it comes to his control in general. When it comes to things like drop control, when it comes to things like Hellion control, he knows exactly where to put them. He knows exactly where he needs to go in order to do the maximum amount of damage. Now, you were expecting perhaps this one gate into expansion. It certainly is a possibility right now. Single gate out. Zealot on the way up as well, and Bling will of course go immediately into the warp gate, and there is a quick chrono boost on that. So we'll see how high his minerals actually go. Of course, he'll need to get another pylon down. In the meantime...
Oh, SCV loses out to a Zealot.
Wow, yeah, that's actually very true. Yeah, that was a bit unfortunate right there for Lau. And, of course, highly unlikely unless you leave your SCV in there for a little bit too long. And Bling now pushing his way forward, trying to take a little bit of map control, because of course, his opponent has no idea what's going on at this point. And Lau going for a very quick expansion.
Equally so with Bling. So Bling is moving down a probe now to go ahead and build that Nexus down on low ground. We'll want to be adding on that second and third gateway pretty much immediately. The build is you literally cut probes now at 27, then you go immediately second, third gateway because you don't want to fall behind in production, obviously. And there we go. We'll have the one gateway. The second one will follow down now as well. Meanwhile, the barracks with the reactor, once again, you know, Bling is completely clueless. So what he's going to have to do very, very shortly now as the mineral count builds back up again to 200, is that he's going to have to go ahead and build the robotics facility. He needs observers in this game because this can be so many different builds from Terran.
Yeah, it can. There we go. There is the 2 more gateways right here for Bling. Nice and safe. He's got all sorts of different options, different possibilities available to him. Going down straight for the robotics, as you said before, get that observer out, have a nice idea of what Lau's going to do. But of course, Lau's not really getting aggressive at this point. He can't. He's only got this single barracks up with the Marine. So, like I say, just one barracks and reactor expand, and a factory coming up as well. So we could be seeing some early drop play to follow that one up. But he's really got a lot of options, especially with the second refinery going up.
And once again, we do have a lot of Chrono Boost saved up for Bling, waiting to Chrono Boost out the observers, then being able to go into probes. Because literally, if you Chrono Boost your probes now, you can basically lose the game there and then. Because if you can't Chrono Boost the warp gate, if a rush does come around the 7-minute mark, you can lose the game.
Yeah.
So he's being very, very cautious with that. And, you know, he's at currently 27 probes. He's still ahead of Terran right now, simply because of Chrono Boost anyway. And now we see it going into the robotics facility, playing very, very toe-to-toe right now. Meanwhile, we are having the tanks being added on once again here for Lau. Not really playing bio. He usually plays bio, but is going to go for this mech-style base of play. Man. And indeed, like I said, so hard to predict. Out comes the observers now, and as soon as they get information on what's going on, immediate chrono boost into these probes, get back up to where you're not chrono boosting right now.
Yeah, exactly. Just once you know exactly what your opponent's doing, then you can make the decision. Don't make the decision before you know, because that could, as you've said before, cost you the game for very obvious reasons. Another factory coming down right here for Lau. And I do remember a mech style actually being used against Bling in the ECL, so it's not entirely unheard of for Lau. It's perhaps not his most usual style, but in the meantime, it's just going to be there for the moment, Marine tank, but he will transition out of that into something else since he only has a single barracks down at the moment.
So we see the chrono boost immediately going on the Nexus now. The scout goes in, sees the double factory, the most important here, knows that it's going to be very mechs based here. The third factory goes down. I don't think Bling actually saw that right now, and there's a big window for him to hit right now before Siege Tech is done, before the tanks come out, and it looks like Bling is going to push an advantage now with these single 3 gateways. He's chrono boosting all 3 gateways as well. With the Observer, this can be so hurtful for Lau right now. He doesn't, well, he has Siege Tech, but he's not sieged up right now, and the mobility of these gateway units is so good.
He's just taken 2 supply out, and that's actually supply blocked Lau really heavily. Lau is not prepared to deal with that. He's got no more supply debuffs coming down. That's going to limit his ability. See how high his minerals are going now, because he simply cannot spend it. And 2 Hellions, 1 slips past only just, and perhaps just a distraction to allow Lau to do something. Lau is actually going all the way up to the front with these SCVs. I have to wonder what his plan is. He's so supply blocked, and is actually forced to supply drop, which is never good. Now Bling's going to assault this front line. Will he be able to break the tanks in time? I think he will, because of course the repairs are focused on the bunkers. Tanks taken out almost immediately. Bling could actually bypass his entire bunker line, but he doesn't want to. He wants to crush her right here. He wants to decapitate Lau and take this game. Will he be able to do it? It's looking very likely. Second bunker goes down.